Yeah, quite the title, right? So I was recently pointed to this video that is somewhat similar to one of mine, and I wasn't really sure what to make of it. Then I looked into it, and I saw certain things in this video that seemed oddly familiar. So this video is by a guy named Carlos Revolution. It's a pretty big 163k subscriber channel, Spanish language, which goes some way to explain why it's not been picked up on before now, because in order to realise you need to have seen both videos. Unless you speak English and Spanish, you're probably not going to have seen both videos, right? This guy made a video on all the deaths in Mortal Kombat. Sound familiar? Now, I'm not going to say that you can't make another video on the same topic someone else has. You know, you can put your own spin on it, you can bring your own style, your own personality, that's fine. Anybody could come along and say, here's all the canonical deaths in Mortal Kombat. They might even pick up on a few errors I may have made or something like that. But that's not what happened here. What this guy did is he took my video, and I don't know how similar the script is. There are definitely some changes. I know of at least one change he made, and I'll get to that. The footage used is entirely mine. Now, I'm not just talking about he uses, you know, the cutscene footage I record or gameplay footage. I mean stuff as specific as this. You see that? Well, I took the text from Deadly Alliance's Conquest mode and put it in front of the Netherrealm background from MK3. And this guy just took that and just used it, like wholesale. Like he used the same thing. And then like even the title there, MK4 using the MKX font over a black background. That's from my video. You can see it right here. That's how I did it too. He's just made a few little tweaks. Oh, here's a bit of a fade effect. Oh, there's the MK4 footage from the N64 version. There's Shinnok's severed head. There's Shinnok's severed head again. Oh, but he's fading it to cut it a bit short. Ooh. But here's the things that really fuck me off about this video, right? The part that really tipped me off was the fact that when I was talking about the death of Jared, one of the things I showed was... Ah, yeah, here. When I talk about, here's all the people who killed him. Those are the renders I used when I talked about it. See? And that's not a thing you could just coincidentally come up with. This is something that you would have to have just taken from elsewhere, right? Someone could theoretically have come up with the idea of taking this exact shot and putting these exact renders in it. I mean, they probably wouldn't have, you know, zoomed in on the footage to get rid of the black bars at the top and bottom of the screen like I do. That's my style, because I like to have a consistent aspect ratio across the whole video. That's not what most people do, though. But this footage is that. And then you might have said, okay, I'm going to put renders of these three characters. You're going to put in that exact spot with the exact same renders. There's so many renders you could have picked for these characters, and those are the ones you chose. Additionally, I feel like most people probably wouldn't get this hyper-specific about, here's how many people are reported to have killed him in the game. That's more of like a me thing, more of a me hyperfixation thing. But I want to go back to the Johnny Cage thing. This is one of the most despicable parts of the entire video. I mean, you can. It's so transparent, right? Look at this. You go from the footage of a Shao Kahn exploding MK2, and then suddenly you get a less than a second from Shaolin Monks as it fades to black. Why would that be there, if not because it was baked in with the rest of the footage being used? Now here, it cuts from that to this unrelated footage of Johnny from MKX. Why does it do that? Because in my video, it cuts from that to me showing the thumbnail for one of my videos where I talk more in depth about Johnny Cage's death. And then, once he no longer has to cover that up with his own dog shit footage, he can then just carry on and show this clip that I show from MK9. So, like, he's just trying to mask the fact that the video is fucking stolen. And here's the other things that really fuck me off, right? Look at this. Totes las Muertes de Mortal Kombat 9-11. He split it into two videos. It's not enough to just steal my video. He had to go and turn it into two videos. And now here's the bit that most... I mean, obviously, you know, he's not got as many views as me. Thank God. That would be disgusting if he had as many views as I did for the stolen video. But here's the thing that really gets me, right? I want you to watch this intro. Watch this. Here's little clips I'm showing. Interesting how none of the assets he's using are in Spanish. Everything's in English. I know a lot of stuff is easy to come across, but you might think for a Spanish video, you might want to have Spanish assets to make it a bit more, especially when you're highlighting stuff that's been mentioned. Like, you're showing a character bio. Maybe if a bio's referencing an event and you're talking about it, you should have it relate to the language the video is in. And then even, they're like some of the same zooms, obviously. The original footage is not that zoomed in, I can tell you that. I zoomed in to get that close shot of Fujin. It's fucking sponsored! This fucker stole my video, dubbed over it, did a horrific job of editing out the parts that are specific to me. Here's where I mentioned one of my other videos. I'm not going to let that go. I'm going to put over some... I'm not even going to trim it out. I'm just going to put some shitty other footage over it from MKX to mask that stuff. And then he's going to get paid to do it. He's going to get paid to steal my video. Now, the thing is, obviously the easy solution here is just to say, that's wrong, and I'm going to put in a copyright claim for his theft of my video. I'm going to do that, but not quite yet. Right now, I am making this video because if that fucker is stealing from me, and arguably stealing from the sponsor because he didn't make a video, he just stole someone else's, I deserve to make some money from this fucker stealing my content. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to report it a little later and see what happens there. Some people might take issue with that. Fuck you, right? See, if he approached me and asked me to make like a Spanish dub version of it, that would have been fine. I wouldn't have an issue with someone saying, I want to get this thing out to a new audience. Something like that happened before when I did the Devil May Cry game theory on Dante's Age, like way back in the day, like 2014 or something. There was someone who asked me if they could make a version with subtitles in, I think it was Russian. So they provided me with translated subtitles, and I put those on my video. But there's also another version that they put up that has like baked in subtitles for that language. And that was fine. If this person has just approached me and said, hey, I like this video, would it be okay if I make a Spanish dub for it? You know, as long as he gave me credit, acknowledged right at the start that this is a dubbed over version of one of my videos, you know, and linked to my channel, that would be fine. And that's not what he did. He just stole the content outright. And so that makes me wonder, how many of these other videos are original and how many are stolen? Even if I clicked on one of these videos, I don't know if I'd be able to recognize that it's someone else's. Because I don't speak Spanish. I don't know what is being said. And the auto-generated English subtitles don't really help, as you might have seen when I had them up on his video. Who else has this guy stolen from? Is any of this original, or is it all stolen? Could one of these be a True Underdog video, or a Brusque Poet, or History Behind the Warrior? Oh look, a primer on Sub-Zero. Wouldn't be surprised if that was stolen too. I don't know. So I definitely encourage notable MK YouTubers to go through this, look at this person's channel, and people who understand Spanish especially to go through and see if they can identify any videos that this guy might have stolen, because this just isn't acceptable. If he just offered a partnership, I wouldn't have minded. It's despicable. So I'm going to make some money off this fucker stealing from me. Then I'm going to bring it up to YouTube and say, this guy is just stealing from me. This just shouldn't be allowed. You know, I should be enjoying the new MK1 stress test, checking out what the game's like, and using footage from it in another video I'm working on. But I had to put it on hold for this. I mean, admittedly, this was a while ago, so it's not exactly pressing. It went up. And I know this isn't intentional, right? I know this part is not intentional. It just makes it worse for me, because the 9th of September was my mum's birthday. I know this wasn't planned that way. I know he didn't plan to release it specifically on my dead mum's birthday. Obviously, that there's no way he could have known. But that doesn't make it hurt any less. This guy needs to be checked for any other theft he may have taken part in, and he needs to be stopped. Because this is just despicable. I do put a lot of work into my videos. I know it may not seem like it, but you might be able to tell from how quick the editing is, how many quick shots I go through in my videos. Because I want to make sure everything on screen is relevant to what I'm saying. And this guy goes and steals that and then just shits all over it by just plastering random things on top of it and acting like he's the one who came up with it. I feel like I have a pretty distinctive editing style where a lot of other people wouldn't go into that specific details. Like, I'm going to represent this thing. I'm going to go into MKX and use the classic costumes and with a classic fatality. Or I'm going to zoom in here on Scorpion's death to this specific spot. This man needs to be stopped. And go watch the original video. Don't let this fucker get away with his bullshit and help my video to get more. It's did it pretty well, but it can do better. And I feel like the fact that this guy stole from me means that I deserve at least a bit more. I think I deserve to get up to 500k. It's just like another 60k views. It's not too much to ask for a guy who got that many from stealing my fucking content.